set horror stories, goodness.
Wow, that's the first question? Holy shit, that's very complicated.
Horror stories.
Wow.
Bad stories in the porn set.
Yes. When you're gonna stuff things back there, you know, shit can or can't happen. So probably most of my horror stories involve, like, you know, either being shit on or accidentally shitting on someone else and being like, sorry, my bad.
Oh, and then, of course, the electrical cables falling into hot tubs, those kinds of crazy things.
I was in a scene with Lorelei Lee, and hot scene, and we were really into each other, very intense. And all of a sudden, I'm like getting ready to like stick it in, and it just felt funny down there. And I looked down there, and I had busted a vein in my penis, and it swelled up to like an eggplant. It was all black and blue. So it was like a dangling like an accordion. So I was pretty scared.
I was on set, and the scene was I don't know if it was considered a gangbang. It was a 3-on-1, 3 guys and me. And one of the guys showed up, I think it was almost 2 hours late, and wasn't responding to his phone, and it was very frustrating. And then by the time he got there, he wouldn't take his shirt off. And we're like, the director was like, dude, just take your shirt off. Like, you can't just be doing the scene with your shirt on the whole time. And he's like, well, hold on a second. And he pulls the director aside and lifts up his shirt to reveal a bandage this big. And he's like, I actually just came from the hospital. I got stabbed last night. And I was like, I just want to say for the record that I'm not comfortable having sex with you with a giant open wound. No offense.
Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, it was like an anal day, and I just I guess my food, it was pasta, and I didn't realize it was gonna run like the way it did, and hence the scene just didn't work out.
I have one porn set horror story that involved a guy who thought he can be a porn star with a 4-inch penis, and the director sent him straight home.
No, I haven't seen anything bad on my set. I guess I've seen a couple of them on prior sets. Like, I arrived a little early and saw like a previous scene going on, and all I remember is it was a squirt scene, and they could not get the girls, because it was a plural scene, to squirt at all. So either they were drained or they were maybe not squirters. I don't know what it was. But at one point, things got explosive and it wasn't squirt. Didn't come out of that hole.
One of the first scenes I ever did was a cuckold scene, which I didn't know what a cuckold was before then. And it was a black man, my cuckold boyfriend, and myself. And then my pimp, he came in my hands, and my cuckold boyfriend licked it out of my hand. And I was so just shocked, because I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, nobody told me he was gonna lick the other guy's cum out of my hands. So that was a little bit horrifying.
Once I threw up when doing a deep throat. Is that bad enough? You know, when they are forcing you to do these super huge deep throats with the, the forced fucking your face or whatever, sometimes it's complicated to stop your reflect. The consistency was liquid, completely liquid, like there wasn't any kind of pieces of food or anything. Not the spaghetti, no, nothing.
Makeup artist, this is 1984. Our wonderful Lee Garland, who is no longer with us. One of the best makeup artists ever in porn. Maybe 85. We're in Northern California in Marin County at one of those fabulous, redwood and glass wall houses in the wooded hills. I mean, just, one of those rich people houses. And the makeup artist had just finished making up me, Gina Fine, I'm not quite sure of the last woman, in these fat, gloves, hats, just beautiful, walk right through a plate glass window. And I'm a nurse, right? So here I am in my full regalia, providing first aid, and barking orders, you back off, you get the car, you apply pressure, you go to the hospital. And then luckily nothing major was sliced, so he was not spurting blood, it was mainly skin, but he all over. I mean, he had 6 good cuts in his himself. And then we went and did the scene.
There was a girl doing, it was during like an orgy scene, and there was a girl doing some butt stuff, and I was like on the ground, and we like paused it, called cut, and the homeboy pulled out, and I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And gravity took hold.
A scene that I started out on top of a sand dune. I was supposed to be stranded in the desert, walking across this big sand dune with howling wind, tumble down this big ass hill, probably 3 stories high. Wake up, well actually face plant and come up, and there's like, and then in front of me is this lantern, and I'm supposed to rub the lantern, and this female genie comes out, and we're like in this little blanket and an oasis, and we have a sex scene. Lubricant is an amazing glue for sand that goes on your hand, which goes on your penis, which goes in the girl's vagina. So I was scouring her innards while we were going through the scene.
So there was one time that I was doing everything but, and it was a very long day of lots of anal, and I was shooting with Nina Hartley, who's kind of my hero, and it was the first time I got to work with her, and I was really nervous and really wanted to impress her and like go really hard to impress her, and at the end of the day I was squatting into a position for the next scene, and all of a sudden all the lube from the entire day just came shooting out of my ass.
So I did this porn parody of Carrie. It was directed by Kimberly Kane. And we had this orgy scene, which was the prom orgy that we all had to do. And in the movie, Carrie gets a bucket of blood dumped on her. So in the porn parody, naturally, she gets a bucket of cum dumped on her. And in order to create this fake cum, they used something that was definitely milk-based. What happened was everything got so hot that it eventually just started smelling like sour milk, and we're all fucking in sour milk, and it was so disgusting. I think one of the talent ended up having to walk off set because he was dry heaving from the smell, and the poor girl that I got dumped on, Sarah Siobhan, has it all in her hair and all over her. It was definitely an experience.
I was doing an interrogation style BDSM scene once where I'm like strapped to a chair and he's trying to extract information from me that I won't give, and we get to one of the torments, which is to give me what is supposed to be like a wine enema basically, but it was actually like grape juice and Diet Pepsi like mixed together, and they put all of this stuff in my butt and it has to sit there for a really long time, and because of the way the movie was shot, we actually ended up doing it twice. So I basically had grape juice in my ass for, I don't know, over an hour. And I didn't really consider the fact that grape juice is a laxative. Luckily my body was empty, but like I was basically farting grape juice for the next 48 hours.
There was this one time, this has only happened once, where I showed up to set and the person who was supposed to be doing the scene with me was really, really wasted, and we couldn't continue the scene, so we almost finished it, and we got to the last like 5 minutes of it, and he was supposed to come, and he couldn't do it.
So this is my first time topping for Divine Bitches. This is like my dream. Topping is when you are the one doing the penetration and administering the pain, the corporal. So you're the giver of the scene. You run the scene, and you pretty much wrangle and herd your subs, and you know. So I was topping this fine fellow, and it was his first scene for kink. He had done butt stuff, and for those of you who are not familiar with butt stuff, there is a lot of prep work that is necessary for butt stuff to go well. And I'm not sure if this fine fellow got the memo, because there was excrement in lots of corners on the set.